You are not single by accident. You are not overlooked, forgotten, or left behind. You are chosen. Life has been shaping you, molding you, and preparing you for something greater than the ordinary. Sometimes solitude is not punishment. It is training ground. The best time of your life is not somewhere in the future. It is happening right now. Every breath you take, every challenge you face, and every quiet night of reflection is part of your transformation. In these moments, your soul learns strength, independence, and clarity of purpose. You were kept single because your spirit needed space to grow. You were kept single so you would not settle for less than your destiny. You were kept single because greatness requires refinement, and refinement happens in silence. Do not waste this season longing for what has not yet arrived. Embrace it. Master yourself. Build your vision, heal your wounds. Prepare your soul. The right connections will come at the right time, but only when you are ready to meet them as the fullest version of yourself. You are not waiting. You are becoming. And when the time comes, you will not just enter a relationship, you will enter alignment with your higher calling. That is why you are chosen, and that is why this season of singleness is sacred. Many people believe that being single is a curse, a delay, or a form of punishment. They look at couples walking hand in hand and think they are missing out on something essential, something that validates their existence. But the truth is far deeper. Singleness is not punishment. It is preparation. It is the sacred season where your life is being shaped, your spirit is being trained, and your heart is being refined to handle the weight of what is coming. In solitude, you discover who you are without distraction. You learn to stand firmly on your own feet, not relying on the validation of another person to tell you that you are worthy, beautiful, strong, or enough. You begin to see that your value does not come from who chooses you, but from the undeniable fact that you are already chosen for a greater purpose. Being single is a season of alignment. It is the time when life clears away the noise so that you can hear your inner voice, your higher calling, and the whispers of destiny that get drowned out when you are too entangled in the expectations of others. While the world may convince you that being alone means being incomplete, the deeper reality is that wholeness is not found in another person but within yourself. When you understand this, you stop searching for someone to fix you and start realizing that you were never broken. You were simply in training, being strengthened for the next chapter. Think about the great moments in history, the lives that transformed the world. Almost every great soul endured seasons of isolation before stepping into their purpose. Prophets, leaders, artists, thinkers all had to go through wilderness seasons where they were stripped of distractions so they could develop resilience, vision, and wisdom. Your season of singleness is no different. It is your wilderness, your preparation ground, your opportunity to build character that will carry you through not only a relationship but through every great responsibility that life will bring. Without this preparation, love can become dependency and companionship can become a mask that hides unhealed wounds. But with preparation, love becomes a partnership and companionship becomes a union of two whole souls who enhance each other rather than complete each other. Preparation means you learn patience. It means you learn to sit with your own emotions without running to someone else for comfort. It means you learn to celebrate your victories without needing applause, and you learn to face your failures without collapsing under shame. In this season, you find out that joy is not tied to circumstances but flows from within you. When you master this truth, no person can rob you of your peace, and no relationship can define your worth. This is the power of preparation. It gives you strength that is unshakable. Many rush out of this season because they fear being alone. They jump into relationships to fill a void, but what they don't realize is that rushing only leads to cycles of disappointment. When you see singleness as punishment, you will resent it, and when you resent it, you will try to escape it before it has finished its work. But when you see it as preparation, you embrace it. You let it mold you, stretch you, and guide you into a deeper version of yourself. You begin to see the beauty of your own company, the power of independence, and the freedom of not needing to perform for anyone's approval. Preparation is also about vision. This is the season where you clarify your dreams, build your skills, and set your foundation. The time you spend single is the time you have to plant seeds that will bear fruit in the future. If you waste this time longing for something you do not yet have, you will miss the chance to create the life you were meant to live. But if you use this time wisely, when the right person does enter your life, they will not meet someone who is waiting to be saved. They will meet someone who is already walking in purpose. That is the kind of love that lasts. When two people come together, not out of desperation, but out of alignment with their higher callings. Think about it. What if this season is keeping you single not because something is wrong with you, but because everything is right with you? What if you are being protected from relationships that would have drained you, distracted you, or pulled you away from your true destiny? Sometimes the very thing you think is rejection is actually divine protection. Every closed door, every failed connection, every unanswered prayer might just be life's way of saying, not yet. You are still in preparation. When you understand this, you stop seeing delays as denials and start seeing them as lessons in timing. Preparation also teaches you gratitude. It shows you how to be thankful for your own growth, your own achievements, and the simple blessings of daily life. Gratitude in singleness means you can look around and realize that love is not missing. It is already present in the way you treat yourself, the way your friends support you, the way your family shows up, and the way life continues to give you opportunities to rise higher. Gratitude transforms loneliness into solitude, turning what could feel like emptiness into sacred space where you and your soul meet. Do not let the world convince you that being single is less valuable than being partnered. The world loves to glorify romance while neglecting the beauty of individuality. But your single season is a treasure, a gift that many people overlook until it is gone. Once you step into relationships, marriage, and family, you will never have this same amount of freedom to focus solely on your growth again. That is why preparation is not wasted time. It is the most important time. This is when you get to build the foundation for everything that will come after. So embrace it. Let singleness be the fire that forges your strength, the soil that grows your vision, the silence that sharpens your inner voice. Let it teach you that you are whole, worthy, and chosen, even without anyone standing beside you. Because when you understand that singleness is not punishment, but preparation, you will no longer fear it. Instead, you will see it as the sacred season where you were transformed into the person capable of carrying the love, the destiny, and the greatness that awaits you. So many people live their lives with their eyes fixed on a distant horizon, always waiting for some future moment when everything will finally fall into place. They tell themselves that happiness will come when they achieve a certain goal, when they find the right partner, when they have more money, or when life finally looks like the dream they've been carrying in their hearts. They live as if today is just an obstacle to tomorrow, as if now is nothing more than a waiting room for something better. But the truth is that the best time of your life is not somewhere ahead of you. It is happening right now. Every breath you take, every sunrise you see, every conversation, every laugh, every tear, every lesson, every step forward, and even every stumble backward is part of the most important chapter of your life, the present moment. We deceive ourselves when we postpone joy, when we convince ourselves that happiness is a reward at the end of some achievement. We say to ourselves, I'll finally be happy when I get that promotion. I'll finally feel at peace when I meet the right person. I'll finally be fulfilled when my dreams come true. But the danger with this mindset is that even when those things come, they never feel like enough because the habit of postponing joy remains. If you don't learn to embrace the beauty of it, you will never be satisfied no matter what tomorrow brings. That is why the most powerful realization you can have is that life is not something you are waiting for. It is something you are living right now. Think about how much we miss when our minds are stuck in the future. We overlook the small details that give life its meaning. The sound of laughter from someone we love, the way the sun paints the sky at dusk, the quiet comfort of being able to sit in peace with ourselves. These are not minor moments, they are the building blocks of happiness. Yet so often, we rush past them because we are chasing something we imagine will be greater. But when you pause and pay attention, you realize that greatness is not hidden in the future. It is woven into the ordinary beauty of today. When you truly believe that your best time is now, you stop waiting and you start living. You stop putting your dreams on hold until conditions are perfect. You stop saying, someday, and you start saying, today. This doesn't mean you abandon ambition or stop striving for growth. It means you refuse to let your pursuit of the future blind you to the miracle of the present. Ambition and presence can live together. You can be reaching for the stars while still being rooted in gratitude for the ground you stand on. That balance is what turns life from a constant chase into a constant celebration. This moment, right now, is your opportunity to grow. It is your opportunity to learn to love, to forgive, to create, to heal, to rise. If you are breathing, you are in the middle of your best time. Even the struggles you face today are not signs that you are failing. They are signs that you are alive, evolving, and becoming. Every challenge you overcome now will become the wisdom that carries you forward. Every mistake you make now is part of the refinement that shapes your future. If you keep waiting for the right time, you will miss that this is the right time. Too many people look back on their lives with regret, realizing they were always waiting and never living. They were waiting for love, waiting for success, waiting for happiness, waiting for the perfect moment, and in all that waiting, they overlooked the gift of the present. Do not make that mistake. Do not let your life pass you by while you are waiting for permission to start living. The only permission you need is your own decision to embrace the now. When you recognize that your best time is happening now, your perspective shifts. You begin to see every day as meaningful. You stop resenting your current season and start honoring it. You realize that even if things aren't perfect, they are valuable. That even if you don't have everything you want, you already have so much worth appreciating. Gratitude becomes the lens through which you see the world, and suddenly what once felt ordinary becomes extraordinary. The meal in front of you is a blessing. The roof over your head is abundance. The people around you are treasures. The fact that you woke up this morning with another chance to try again is a miracle. This is not about ignoring your future or pretending your dreams don't matter. It's about understanding that the best way to build the future is to live fully in the present. The seeds of tomorrow are planted in the soil of today. If you neglect today, your future will be empty. But if you honor today, your future will bloom. What you do right now, your choices, your mindset, your habits will shape everything that comes next. That is why now is not a stepping stone to the best time of your life. It is the best time of your life. The illusion of the future can be a trap. We think life will be better when we arrive at some destination, but life is not a destination. It is a journey. The joy is not at the end of the road. It is found in every step along the way. You don't have to wait until everything makes sense, until every piece fits, until you have it all figured out. You can embrace the chaos, the uncertainty, the imperfection, and still find meaning in it. That is what it means to live in the now. Even when life feels difficult, even when the present moment carries pain, it is still your best time because it is real and it is shaping you. Pain is not wasted. It is carving depth into your soul, making room for greater strength and compassion. Struggle is not a detour, it is part of the path. And joy is not something that waits on the other side of hardship. It is something you can cultivate even in the midst of it. When you understand this, you no longer postpone your happiness until the storm passes. You learn to dance in the rain, to find beauty even in the shadows, to live fully even in the waiting. Right now, in this moment, you have everything you need to begin. You don't need to wait for tomorrow to tell your story, to share your gift, to chase your passion, to love with courage, to live with gratitude. The clock is ticking, not to count down to your future, but to remind you that your future is already here. This is your time, this is your season, this is your life. And the best part is, you are living it right now. Silence is often misunderstood. In a world that never stops talking, where noise surrounds us from the moment we wake up until the moment we fall asleep, silence feels uncomfortable. People fear it because it confronts them with their own thoughts, their own emotions, and their own truths. Yet silence is not emptiness, it is power. Solitude is not loneliness, it is alignment. It is in the quiet moments when the voices of the world fade away that strength and clarity are born. Those who have never learned to sit with themselves in stillness will always look to others to fill their void, but those who embrace silence discover a reservoir of strength that cannot be shaken. When you allow yourself to be still, you begin to hear what has always been within you, but drowned out by the constant demands of life. You hear your intuition, your inner wisdom, the guidance that is often silenced by the noise of opinions, comparisons, and distractions. In solitude, you no longer have to perform, to please, to pretend. You can simply be. And in that being, you find yourself more clearly than you ever could in the midst of chaos. Strength is not just built in struggle, it is built in stillness. The person who learns to sit in silence without fear learns to master themselves. They are no longer controlled by the need for constant validation because they have found peace within. They are no longer restless when alone because they know their own company is enough. This kind of strength is rare, but it is unshakable. When storms come, the one who has been trained in silence does not panic because they know how to listen within. When challenges arise, they do not crumble because solitude has taught them resilience. They are not afraid of emptiness because they have already faced it and discovered it was not emptiness at all but space for growth. Clarity is another gift that silence offers. When you are always surrounded by noise, your mind becomes clouded. You can't tell which thoughts are truly yours and which ones have been planted by the opinions of others. But when you step into solitude, you separate yourself from the endless chatter of the world, and suddenly your vision sharpens. You begin to see what matters and what doesn't. You begin to understand which paths are meant for you and which ones are distractions. Clarity does not come from constant activity, it comes from stillness. When you quiet the world around you, you hear the truth that has been whispering all along. Many people run from silence because it feels uncomfortable at first. They turn on the television, scroll endlessly through their phones, surround themselves with people, anything to avoid being alone with themselves. But growth requires facing what you fear, and often what you fear is your own reflection in the silence. It is in those quiet moments that your unhealed wounds rise to the surface, your insecurities speak louder, your doubts echo. Yet this is not something to run from, it is something to embrace, because when you face those voices, when you sit with them long enough, you begin to heal. Silence is not your enemy, it is your mirror, and in that mirror, you can finally see what needs to change, what needs to grow, and what needs to be released. Solitude also teaches you independence. It reminds you that you are not defined by who stands beside you, but by who you are when you stand alone. This independence is not about isolation. It is about foundation. When you know who you are in solitude, you no longer depend on others to give you identity. You no longer cling to relationships out of fear of being alone, because you understand that being alone is not a weakness, but a strength. This is why silence and solitude prepare you for deeper love and connection. Only when you are whole in yourself can you truly share your life with another without losing yourself in the process. In silence, creativity is born. Ideas come not when your mind is crowded with noise, but when it is given space to breathe. Some of the greatest works of art, discoveries, and breakthroughs came in moments of solitude. Silence is the birthplace of innovation because it allows the mind to wander, to explore, to dream without distraction. If you fill every moment with noise, you rob yourself of the chance to hear the whispers of inspiration that only come when the world is quiet. Strength and clarity from silence are not built overnight. They are cultivated like muscles in the gym through practice and patience. At first, silence may feel heavy. Your mind may resist it, throwing distractions your way, reminding you of tasks, worries, and endless noise. But if you sit with it, if you let the silence stretch a little longer each time, you begin to notice its gifts. Your breathing slows, your thoughts organize, your heart softens, and your vision clears. The more you practice, the more you realize that silence was never empty. It was always full of truth. Even nature reminds us of the power of silence. The deepest growth happens beneath the surface, unseen, unheard. Seeds grow roots in the quiet darkness of the soil before they ever reach the light. Trees stand in silence for years, their strength built slowly, their clarity in reaching upward toward the sun unwavering. In the same way, your growth in silence is hidden, but it is real. Your roots are deepening, your spirit is strengthening, and your clarity is forming, preparing you to rise when the time is right. So many people are restless, chasing answers outside themselves, running from place to place, person to person, hoping to find clarity in the noise. But the answers they seek are not out there, they are within. And the only way to hear them is to embrace silence and solitude. Strength is not just about how much weight you can carry, it is about how deeply you are rooted. Clarity is not just about knowing what you want, it is about knowing who you are. Both are gifts of silence, and both are the foundation of a life lived with purpose. When you embrace silence, you stop fearing it. When you embrace solitude, you stop confusing it with loneliness. Instead, you begin to see it as a sanctuary, a sacred space where you can recharge, rebuild, and reconnect with yourself. It is not an absence of life. It is where life becomes most vivid. It is where you remember your worth, your strength, your clarity, and your purpose. And once you discover that, you carry it with you into every part of your life, unshaken by noise, unbroken by loneliness, unclouded by doubt. Silence and solitude are not punishments, they are blessings. And in them, you find a strength and clarity that nothing in the world can take away. There comes a point in life when you realize that not everything that comes your way is meant for you. Opportunities, relationships, jobs, friendships, they all present themselves, but not all of them are aligned with your destiny. And this is where the difference lies between those who live an ordinary existence and those who step into the fullness of who they were meant to be. You are chosen not to settle for what is convenient, not to accept what simply appears, but to rise above and embrace only that which aligns with your greater calling. Settling may give you comfort, but it will never give you fulfillment. Destiny is not found in the easy choices. It is found in the courageous ones, the ones that require you to trust that something greater awaits you, if only you refuse to compromise. To be chosen means you are set apart. It means you cannot follow the crowd because your path was never designed to look like anyone else's. The temptation to settle often comes when you grow tired of waiting, when you feel the weight of loneliness, or when life whispers, just take what you can get. But deep down, your soul knows the difference between something temporary and something eternal. You know the difference between a life of convenience and a life of calling. The reason you sometimes feel restless even when things look good on the surface is because you were not designed to live beneath your destiny. You were chosen to rise above. Settling is seductive because it feels safe. It promises stability, but what it really delivers is limitation. The job you take just because it pays the bills may silence your hunger for a while, but it will never silence the dream within you. The relationship you enter because you are afraid of being alone may fill your time, but it will never fill your soul. The compromises you make for comfort will eventually become cages that keep you from flying. And the truth is, deep down you already know this. Every time you silence your intuition, every time you ignore that inner voice telling you that you deserve more, you feel a small part of yourself fade. That fading is the cost of settling, and it is too high a price for someone chosen for greatness. Rising above settling requires courage. It requires walking away from good so you can wait for great. It requires patience when everything in you screams for quick solutions. It requires faith in the unseen, trust in the process, and the willingness to endure seasons of uncertainty without grabbing at counterfeits. But here is the gift. When you refuse to settle, you create space for destiny to meet you. You open the door for the right opportunities, the right people, and the right timing to align with your life. Settling closes doors, but faith keeps them open. Think of all the people who gave up too soon, who accepted less because they believed they weren't worthy of more. Their stories are filled with regret, not because they didn't try, but because they didn't wait. Patience is not weakness. It is strength. It is the declaration that you know your worth and you trust your timing. When you embrace patience, you no longer see rejection as failure, you see it as protection. You no longer view delays as wasted time, you see them as preparation. You no longer chase what isn't meant for you, you attract what is aligned with your destiny. Being chosen means that you have been entrusted with something sacred. It means your journey will not always look like everyone else's because you are being prepared for something different. Others may find satisfaction in things that leave you feeling empty, but that emptiness is not a curse. It is a sign. It is the reminder that your soul was not designed to settle. The reason temporary fixes don't work for you is because you were chosen for something eternal. That pull you feel inside, that restlessness when you consider settling, that whisper that says, this isn't it. That is destiny calling you higher. Sometimes rising above means letting go. It means releasing relationships that keep you small, walking away from environments that suffocate your growth, and saying no to opportunities that don't honor your purpose. Letting go is hard because it requires trusting that something better will come. But letting go is also freedom because it makes room for the life you are meant to live. You cannot grasp your destiny while your hands are full of things you were never meant to hold. To rise above settling, you must also believe in your worth. Too often people settle because they don't truly believe they deserve more. They accept crumbs because they don't think they are worthy of the feast. They silence their dreams because they don't believe they have what it takes to achieve them. But being chosen means you were worthy before you even began. Worth is not something you earn. It is something you already carry within you. The moment you recognize that, you stop begging for what was always meant for you. You stop accepting less than you deserve, and you start walking with the confidence that destiny is already yours. There will be moments when choosing not to settle feels lonely. When you watch others moving ahead with jobs, relationships, and milestones that you have not yet reached, you may question whether waiting is worth it. But remember this, alignment is better than acceleration. It is better to move slowly in the right direction than quickly in the wrong one. It is better to wait for the one who complements your soul than to cling to someone who only fills your time. It is better to pursue purpose than to settle for comfort. Loneliness may visit you, but it will never destroy you. Settling, on the other hand, has the power to suffocate the very essence of who you are. The world will try to convince you that settling is maturity, that taking whatever comes is wisdom, that lowering your standards is realistic. But wisdom is not lowering yourself to match the world's pace. It is rising to match your destiny. Realism is not shrinking your dreams. It is believing that your dreams were planted for a reason. And maturity is not giving up on what you want. It is having the patience and strength to wait for what you deserve. You were chosen not to blend in, but to stand out. not to follow the crowd, but to walk your own path, not to settle for what is available, but to rise into what is possible. When you embrace the truth that you are chosen to rise above settling, you no longer measure your life by comparison. You stop looking at what others have and start focusing on what is meant for you. You stop asking, why not me? And start trusting, when it's time, it will be me. You begin to see your singleness, your waiting, your moments of emptiness, not as punishments, but as preparation for the fullness that is coming. And in that mindset, you carry yourself differently. You walk with strength, you live with vision, and you refuse to compromise your destiny for temporary comfort.